Welcome back to Portland. 3-point lead for the Blazers over the Lakers. 5.5 remaining in this first quarter. Here's Kobe Bryant. Doug, you look at this Portland team. They are a desperate, discouraged group coming off the 2 losses against the Lakers in L.A.
Well, Marv, they were demoralized by the Laker play, and then they let it unravel and embarrassed themselves. They embarrassed Portland. They embarrassed the NBA the way they handled themselves the other night. So you know what? We are here in Portland, and you can hear this crowd. This is one of the best crowds in the NBA. They're here to support this team. But if they see any of the antics or anything that went on in Game 2, they will let this team know they will not respect that and cheer for that kind of effort. So I think this team knows of anything today more than anything else. They've got wonderful fans here, and they have to show them really what kind of basketball team they are.
Foul on Fox. That was his second. Neither club shooting well here at the start. You see Rick Fox taking a seat. Portland just 4 for 13. Lakers 5 for 13. Blazers have missed their last 6 shots. Game 3 of the best of 5. And to illustrate how difficult this will be for Portland, looking at the big picture, since Phil Jackson signed on last year with the Lakers have never lost 3 straight games. That's the task in front of the Blazers.
Well, as we saw yesterday with Minnesota, you take one day at a time, win 1, and try to get to Game 4, and that's the task at hand right now for Portland.
Kobe going behind the back to get out of trouble. Not to say that because it hasn't happened before, it can't happen now, because that's only a stat. But you wonder psychologically if this is the club that could do it.
Well, that's the big thing. We talked to Mike Dunleavy before the game. He feels that this team can respond to that. Okay, one of the big differences, though, last year when they were down 3-1 and had to go to the Staples Center and win a Game 5, they had a healthy Bonzi Wells, and they really miss him. What he did in that low post, the versatility of defense.
Offensive foul.
Mike Dunleavy felt that Kobe Bryant wrapped up Steve Smith first, and then Steve Smith tried to get away from him. Let's see it right there. There's a push away with Steve Smith. He got his left arm up, and anytime you get that kind of dislodging close to the basket, you'll be called for the foul.
Shot clock at 5. Shaw for 3. Brian Shaw, who has made a living as a member of the Lakers of hitting 2 shots to bail out his ball club.
Especially against Portland. Here's a turnover, and Shaw can lay out and get another layout. So Shaw with an early run out, now the jump shot. And the Lakers, once again, taking the emotion out of the crowd. They say, you know what, you win the game with execution.
Blazers have missed their last 7 shots. Here's checked it, but it will count. It's a goaltend. So the basket counts, and the game is tied at 15.
One of the game plans that the Blazers always have against the Lakers is make Kobe Bryant play defense, whether he's playing a Stacey Augmon last year or whether it be a Bonzi Wells or a Steve Smith. They want him to use energy on the defensive end of the floor to take away from his offense.
Again, they double up on Shaq. Here comes the double. Traveling violation is called. Mike Dunleavy wanted a foul, wanted the charge.
I think Shaquille O'Neal is the toughest guy in the league to referee. He's so big, he's so strong. What is incidental contact, and what is dipping in there, using a shoulder, and getting an advantage? Marv, it is so hard to call because this guy is so big and strong.
And he drew the foul. What a difficult game this is for the officials. Jack Neese, Ron Garrettson, Greg Willard working today's game, but with all that has gone on with the Portland Trailblazers, there are some decisions that are very tough to make when you're handling a game like this.
And especially in an elimination game, obviously you want the players to decide the game. You don't want to give quick technicals. You don't want to do the quick ejections. But you also have to have order, and you have to have the game played the right way. So you've got veteran officials here. They're aware of everything that's going on, Marv. I expect them to referee very well. I think the players will handle themselves the right way today.
Kobe Bryant, who just picked up his second foul, sitting down. Devin George, who's done a nice job off the bench in recent weeks, has come on.
See, that's one of the reasons why they go at Kobe. Get him in foul trouble. Now he has to sit down. Now everything goes through Shaq. Now that doesn't mean it's better for Portland, but what it does is it takes away that one creator on the perimeter that creates shots for Fisher and Shaw and George and Ori and the rest of the perimeter players.
Blazers have a 2-point lead. Portland doing a nice job here in the early going on Shaq. Shaw. Wallace with the rebound. Here comes Stoudemire. Lakers get back. Smith passed on the three. Sabonis wide open. Arvydas Sabonis 2 for 2 from the field. The Blazers 19, the Lakers 15.
Where are they going to be able to get 18 minutes of help for Sabonis? Marv, he really cannot play more than 30 or 32 minutes against Shaq. It's unfair to ask him to do that. Somebody's going to have to help him today.
6-0 run for Portland. Illegal defense called for the first time against the Lakers.
You see Shaquille O'Neal is always going to track the basketball to go for the shot block. Sabonis presents himself as a target, and when his legs are fresh, he can make that shot. When he gets tired, his shot becomes a line drive. He does not get any arch on the shot. He does not have success, and Shaq will not go out there and play him. But Marv, when you look at the Blazers, I think of all the guys who played in this series, Sabonis really has probably played up to his ability more than any of the other guys.
Ball back to the Lakers, and a 20-second timeout has been called. Blazers stepping out of bounds on that last play. We'll be right back. This is a Portland Trailblazer team that lost 14 of their last 22 games during the course of the regular season. They have lost their last 5. Back on the 6th of March, the Blazers, who finished at 50-32, were 42-18. Top spot in the West. They then went on to lose 5 in a row, including those back-to-back losses to Vancouver. So since then, they went 8 up and 14 down. It has been a collapse by the Blazers coming into the playoffs.
And 4-7 at home, Mark. So they used to be a team that was so difficult to beat here. Now all of a sudden they are vulnerable, and other teams know it.
Foul on the Blazers. It's on Wallace. That's his first. Portland trying to extend this series to a game 4 on Tuesday night here in Portland. So it's a 3-point lead for the Blazers as we come up on 2 minutes remaining and the first.
Well, we spoke to Mike Dunleavy before the game. He said, I want to get Wallace 20 to 25 catches in that post today as Pippen goes to the basket. Rasheed has gotten 6 early shots. He's only 1 of 6, but he has got to keep shooting, Mark. 20-25 shots. He cannot back away from it today. They're going to need everything he's got.
O'Neal sets the pick. Shaw checking the shot clock and then finals. Good hustle by Smith. Stoudemire. Sabonis. Derek Fisher, who has played so well after coming back from that stress fracture injury. Here's Grant. Horace Grant showing the outside touch. It's a 3-point Portland lead.
Horace Grant loves to score his points in the first period. We saw in game 1, 12 of his 14 in that first period. He loves to get off to great starts. You have to know that when you're playing against him and get up and guard him.
Stoudemire from downtown. That's his first field goal. Very sharp start here by Portland. In particular, when you consider coming off the horror show in game 2. Here's Grant. Crowd wanted either a travel or an offensive foul.
As Horace Grant once again loves to get going in that first quarter.
Stoudemire.
Now, Mark, we've seen Portland get off to great starts. That has not been their problem. It's been their ability to sustain it through 48 minutes.
Well, we saw it last week. Lakers concluding with that big fourth quarter, opening up with a 15-0 run that put them away in game one.
And actually, at the end of game two, they had like a 9-point lead in the first quarter. Ended that quarter sloppily, only had a 4-point lead after one. And then L.A. took off from that point in time.
Mike Dunleavy says hold for a final shot of this first quarter. Coming up on 10 seconds remaining. Stoudemire working it down, shoots the three. Lakers have to hurry. Shaw cut off by Stoudemire. And a foul is called.
Foul on the floor,
They had a foul to give, so that's not a bad foul. Although you don't want to see Scottie Pippen, when the team is shorthanded, pick up a foul like that. They're going to need all of his fouls today because defensively he's going to be playing against Kobe Bryant. You're going to see him double teaming and trapping. So you hate to see him pick up a foul like that with .6 with a guy shooting a desperation shot, Mark.
First on Pippen, Antonio Harvey, one-time Laker, has checked in for the first time. Damon Stoudemire sits down, and here's the applause. Just 0.6 of a second remaining. George with the catch and shoot, and hits from downtown.
It seems like the Lakers at the end of the first quarter of every game have had something excite them to make them feel very good about their team. Look at Scottie Pippen laying back, and Devin George just steps right into the shot and buries the three. So all that great work by Portland, they only lead by 3. Shaq only took 2 shots, and Kobe's in foul trouble. Portland did not take advantage.
Back at the Rose Garden, Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Jim Gray, 1 quarter complete. Blazers with a 26-23 lead with 0.6 of a second to go in the first quarter. Devin George, a guy who's shooting 22% from three-point range during the regular season, knocks down a 3 on a catch and shoot.
Well, when you look at the first period, Portland came out with great energy. They did a lot of great things. Kobe and Shaq were only 3 of 8. The Lakers shoot 10 of 22 in the period. Rasheed Wallace has gotten off to a slow start, but Scottie takes that foul with a guy shooting a desperation shot. They get an inbound pass. The guy ends up shooting a wide open 3. Those are costly plays you cannot make if you're trying to win a playoff game.
Lakers 10 of 22 shooting in the first. Portland was 9 for 20. Tyronn Lue has come on for the first time, as has Robert Horry. Rick Fox is back. Fox for 3. The tip.
Second shot opportunities. The Lakers, with their triangle offense, get a lot of movement. When you're double teaming, it's very difficult to block out. They have 16-plus offensive rebounds in the first 2 games.
Damon Stoudemire back on the floor. Damon Stoudemire off to a fast start. He has 9 points. On the subject of Robert Horry, who came up with that tip a moment ago, Dale Davis suspended because he had gone after Horry, and the strange thing is, Horry said he likes Dale Davis, and he says he thought Davis liked him. Foul is called, a hard foul from Antonio Harvey. Said we always see each other when we're in Las Vegas, always talk to each other. Horry said I used to joke around with him because he almost went to Alabama, then decided to go to Clemson at the last minute.
Well, you know, you think about the one playoff series, remember when the Lakers were playing the Pistons, 2 great friends, Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson, they used to give each other a kiss on the cheek before the game. Remember, the one hard foul in that series changed everything. So you know what? We're buddies, maybe in Vegas and having fun, but on the court, we're playing for that championship ring.
It's the spirit of the competition. Crowd enjoying that Kobe missed his first. I thought Kobe Bryant handled the Scottie Pippen scenario very, very well. He could have gone off on Pippen, who claimed that Kobe wasn't injured last week, that he was faking the hip injury. There's no question that he was hurt. Pippen said that Kobe's trying to be like Michael Jordan. Here's Lue. Play by Stoudemire to break it up.
How about Rick Fox? He said, aren't we all trying to be like Michael?
But Scotty very, very frustrated with what has taken place. Nice pass, and then the rejection by Greg Anthony who just come on. Here's Stoudemire, accelerated. Stoudemire has 11 points. The Blazers up 30-26.
Great energy by Portland, and Stoudemire every opportunity looking to push that ball up the floor.
And a defense from this capacity crowd here in Portland. Harvey on the rebound. Anthony. Wallace. Shaquille O'Neal very quiet thus far. He's attempted only 2 shots. He's 1 for 2 from the field, and Bryant is fouled by Anthony.
You can see now with the suspension to Stacey Augmon what it's done to Mike Dunleavy. Now he has to go with 2 small guards. He's got Greg Anthony on the floor with Damon Stoudemire. So instead of seeing a Stacey Augmon or a guard out there 6'7" who can be rangy and active on Kobe, it forces Scottie Pippen to play Kobe. Let's see if Kobe tries to attack him.
Down to 5. Bryant. Good job by Antonio Harvey on a box out of Shaquille O'Neal. Stoudemire.
If you rebound against the Lakers, you can run. The big question is, though, you have to rebound with all 5 guys.
Damon Stoudemire has scored the last 11 points for Portland. Shaq is fouled.
Great block out here. Shot clock winding down. Look at Antonio Harvey. Keep Shaq behind him. Fans thought it was an over-the-back foul. Shaq could not handle it. But look now, he can attack. You've got the Lakers on the heels. Shaq is not in the picture. You got a chance to get some early offense. Now, Portland will take that kind of play.
Shaquille O'Neal only 4 of 9 from the line in Game 2 this past Thursday night. Well, you can log on to MSNBCSports.com for in-depth playoff coverage. Matt Gukas with commentary on the Eastern Conference matchup. Steve Jones will take a look at the West. Plus, you can email Bill Walton your questions and check out his latest playoff mailbag. Of course, all of Bill's email carefully screened because he is a very sensitive guy. How about Shaq taking a technical foul the other day?
Marv, it scares me. I was just getting ready to say that. You and I start thinking alike here now.
That is sad.
I was just getting ready to say the same thing. Phil just sort of twisted the needle in a little bit. He said, Shaq, go ahead and take that technical. Now, the game was out of reach when he took it, obviously.
Scottie Pippen said when Shaq begins to hit technical fouls, you know it's pretty much over. And Shaq is headed back to the line. Back by Harvey. That's a quick 3 on Antonio Harvey. 8:51 remaining first half. 4-point lead for the Blazers. While Damon Stoudemire has been the story at the offensive end. Kobe Bryant just 2 of 9. How about Rasheed Wallace 1 for 8 here at the start?
Well, that's a positive sign. He's getting 8 shots. Now, he has not gotten the shots to drop, but Portland is still winning the game. So, Marv, remember in Game 1 now, he got off to a very sluggish start, 3 of 13, and finished very strong. So, the big thing he's going to have to do is keep shooting. And from Portland's standpoint, defensively, you know that Shaquille O'Neal is going to start touching the basketball. Only 2 shot opportunities up to this point. I expect the last 8:51 of this period, him to start really going through him to try to demoralize that Portland defense.
So 3 of 4 at the line. Damon Stoudemire has scored the last 11 points for Portland. Shades of Tracy McGrady against Milwaukee last Wednesday night. What a performance by McGrady last night.
What was that, 21 points in the 4th quarter and overtime? Wow, what a performance. And they finally broke that streak against Milwaukee.
Wallace, 1 for 9. McGrady hit 20 straight for Orlando last week in Game 2 against the Bucks. 3-point lead for the Blazers. We're early in the 2nd quarter. Good job by Greg Anthony, who's an excellent defender, in fronting Kobe Bryant. Now Shaq in great position on Sabonis.
Well, they cannot let him catch it that deep. Mike Dunleavy said we cannot double team him if he catches the ball that close to the basket. So they've got to do a better job of fronting him or making him throw over the top. That direct pass kills the Blazer defense.
Anthony for three. Greg Anthony, who's come back from ankle problems, not play much during the course of this season. Bone spurs in his ankles. Not able to match what he accomplished 2 years ago. He's a clutch player. Can shoot the three. Stoudemire on the run. Stoudemire, stepping away, did not want to pick up his third foul.
That ball looked like it slipped out of his hands as he started to jump. Now he's a lefty. It looked like it slipped out of his hands and went fortunately into the basket for him. But again, Stoudemire out on that break.
Blazers up by 6. 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Here is Shaq. Oh, he posterized Sabonis.
Stop that. Oh, I tell you, get it that deep. Just get out of the way.
Shaquille O'Neal with the last 7 points for the Lakers. Damon Stoudemire. Rare miss. And O'Neal on the rebound. Nice pass. Fox able to lay it home. It's a 2-point Blazer lead.
When your guards get in the corner on offense, somebody's got to get back defensively. And you saw the shot was taken there. Neither guard protected the backcourt, and Fox just leaked out and got the layup.
Smith. Oh, he knew O'Neal was somewhere in the vicinity. A series of head fakes allowed him to release that shot.
Smith off to a great start. Very aggressive here with his offense.
Kobe struggling here in the first half. Nice pass to Laurie. So Kobe Bryant with his third field goal, but he's 3 of 11 from the floor. Fast pace here in the second quarter. Wallace called for the foul. Offensive foul.
I tell you, the referees are looking for any little thing. When Rasheed started to throw that ball to the referee, he looked over out of the corner of his eye. And here's Shaquille O'Neal. We said he was going to start going to work inside. He's done that. The Lakers trail by 2.
Rasheed Wallace taking a seat after picking up his second foul a moment ago as we welcome you back to the City of Roses. The Blazers trying to stay alive. Looking for a game 4 back here at the Rose Garden on Tuesday night. They lead the Lakers 39-37. Rick Fox for 3. Shaquille O'Neal has come very much to life at the offensive end in this second quarter. Kobe Bryant. So Kobe now has 9 points. And the game is tied at 39.
Once again, those multiple shots. You force an outside jumper, a three-pointer, you've got to rebound the ball.
The steal by Fox. Good hustle. Fisher diving for it to beat Anthony. Finding Kobe. Shaq back to Kobe. Rejected by Sabonis. Kobe again hanging in and able to hit on the follow.
Right now, Lakers are making a surge. Portland has got to find some way to get the ball in the basket here.
Lakers by 2. Pippen rejected by Ori. Bryant trying to get it off to O'Neal. That time the extra pass cost. Kobe's been playing very unselfishly since making the return from injury. In fact, has 5 assists already here in the first half.
Well, he had 25 points on 11 shots in game 2. That's how efficient he has been. He set up the rest of his teammates, and Fox and Fisher have really been the recipients of some great passes.
Oh, Sabonis hits the floor.
I tell you, when he goes down so hard, Marv. He falls, and every time you just sort of cringe at whether or not he's going to be able to get up or not. He's just got the bad legs, the bad feet. His balance, it's so hard. You're playing against Shaq. You try to take the foul, and then you stumble, and you see Sabonis trying to gather himself as he took that hard fall.
Well, you're looking at a man who's 7'3", 300 pounds, landed on his wrist, trying to shake it off.
Watch his left wrist here as he falls. At the free throw line, he was holding that left wrist and shaking his hand. See, his fingers are taped, and Now, Marv, I wish I would have got a chance to see him when he was in his prime as a young player in Europe. I've heard nothing but spectacular, glowing reports about this guy could run the floor, he could pass, he could shoot for three. Now he's just so beat up and banged up. It's so hard for him on a nightly basis to really perform at his best.
Foul line violation. Shaq will get another shot.
Well, here's Detlef Schrempf right here. He's going to violate. See, he gets inside in Shaq's vision. You have to stay behind that three-point line until the shot is released. Actually, Scottie Pippen inside the line there as well.
Shaq not able to take advantage. Detlef Schrempf coming on a moment ago. We mentioned earlier, Mike Dunleavy said that he plans to use Detlef quite a bit this afternoon. Detlef coming back out of retirement, played 26 games during the regular season. Smith posting, draws a crowd, and a bad pass by Smith.
Blazers are starting to get a little tired here, and they're getting careless. The Lakers are picking up their defense.
Shaw for three. And Rasheed Wallace on the rebound. So Wallace is back. He's up front with Sabonis and Pippen. Smith and Schrempf at the guard. Pippen. And a loose ball foul. It's called on Portland.
See, Portland's having such a difficult getting all the way to the basket. The Lakers have sort of built a wall outside that little dotted area, and everything is a flip to the basket. There's nothing that's a good, strong finish. Scottie Pippen, with his frustration, goes over the top and gets the offensive foul, or excuse me, the loose ball foul.
Second on Pippen. Blazers over the limit. Fox to the free throw line for the first time. Scottie Pippen in a discussion with the official, Greg Willett. Next Saturday, 5 Eastern, it's the ultimate in horse racing. Coming to NBC for the first time ever, the 127th Kentucky Derby. You have a favorite, Doug?
Well, you know what? I have a sentimental favorite, Song of the Prayer, owned by Bobby Hurley, the former great Duke point guard. I gotta give him a little prop. I do. I have to. We're in the Rose City, the Run for the Roses. We got all these roses going here today, Marv.
Remarkable story with Bobby Hurley claiming Song of the Prayer, making it to the Derby. Here's Stoudemire. 44-41. Lakers by 3. Stoudemire has 17 points. Bobby Hurley will do it. Bryant is rejected. Bobby played in the NBA for the Sacramento Kings.
Had that horrible automobile accident that almost cost him his life. It's good to see him respond and have a horse here in the Derby.
Here's Stoudemire changing his mind. Pippen.
Boy, Portland is having a tough time getting shots. The swarming Laker defense.
The kind of defense that we saw last season did not see at the start of the year for the Lakers. Oh, Wallace had it knocked away. He was fouled by Morey. And a timeout is called. That's only the first team foul committed by the Lakers. They lead by 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Portland for the finale of our playoff tripleheader here on NBC. Earlier in the day in Toronto, the Knicks knocked off the Raptors 97-89. Knicks going without Marcus Camby. Allen Houston, 24 points, 9 out of 14 from the field. Knicks up 2-1. Game 4 in Toronto on Wednesday. And Sacramento beats Phoenix 104-96. So the Kings take the lead 2-1. Chris Webber with 23 points. They'll meet again, Game 4 on Wednesday. The Blazers hoping there will be a Game 4 here in Portland on Tuesday. Smith with a wild shot, had nowhere to go. Down to 2:25 in this first half. Rick Fox extends the Laker lead to 5.
Long jump shots create running opportunities. The Lakers are doing a nice job of retaliating back on defensive rebounds. Bad shots right now for Portland. There's a good opportunity for Smith to follow it up, but as the Lakers have geared up their defense, Marv, Portland has not been able to get good shots. And again, Rasheed Wallace is a guy that's got to get touches down in that paint. Mike Dunleavy wants 20 to 25 for the game.
Wallace is just 1 for 9 from the field. Stoudemire's had the hot hand, 7 of 11, 17 points. O'Neal getting inside, bullying his way to draw the foul. It's called on Sabonis.
As we take a look at Rasheed Wallace's shot chart, he's had 3 shots in the paint, but the most of them have been jumpers on that baseline. So they have got to get him around that lane area. Not only does he get some point-blank shots, but he puts pressure on the Laker defense. Get to that free throw line. Create some foul opportunity.
Shaq is 4 for 6. Shaquille O'Neal, who has come a long way at the free throw line. The same can be said for Tim Duncan, who we saw yesterday in the game against the Timberwolves in Minneapolis. What a difference following the All-Star break.
Well, last year in a game in here, Shaq was 9 for 9 from the free throw line, and Phil said, you take that stat sheet and you frame it. Well, you know what? Shaq might have done that, but he was 13 for 13 against Denver in the last regular season game. So Shaq started getting proud of his free throws.
Oh, Pippen with a nice move, not able to finish. A minute and a half remaining in this first half. Bryant with the spin and the bucket. Kobe Bryant around Steve Smith to extend to a 7-point edge.
The Lakers own the end of quarters. That is what has separated them right now from Portland. At the end of every quarter, they have made a surge. It's happening once again today.
Wallace. And Sabonis able to tip it home. Wallace 1 for 10 from the floor. Lakers 50, Blazers 45. Lakers have won their last 10. They've finished with 8 straight of the regular season. They've taken the first 2 of this series from the Blazers. Portland, on the other hand, has dropped its last 5 games. Stoudemire a little out of control, but got bailed out. Foul called on the Lakers. That's on Ori. It's a non-shooting foul. The next foul puts LA over the limit. Here comes Brian Shaw. Here replaced Kobe Bryant. So Kobe, after the slow start, has come on. 13 points, 5 assists.
One thing to look at the Lakers. In game 2 when they won, they were 6 of 22 from 3. Today, Marv only 2 of 12 as we see Sabonis miss the jumper. So Portland is getting them to shoot the outside jump shot, the 3. They're not making it. But then they've got to rebound the basketball. If they're going to force them on the perimeter, they've got to get the defensive rebounds.
Neither club has shot well in this series from downtown. Oh, good play by Fisher. Ori diving for it. Lakers on every loose ball. Here's Fox. From Peel. O'Neal giving the Lakers a 52-45 lead, and Shaq has 14, and that's demoralizing.
That is demoralizing. You work so hard on one end, and he goes the other end and just power dunks a shot against you that you have no chance to defend. I'd say just keep the ball in the building. That's all. Just make sure you don't hit anything. Keep in the building. Shaq will go up and get it. That time with one hand. Rick Fox, that'll be the easy assist he'll get today.
Keep it in the building.
Just keep it in the building where he can get his hands on it.
1+1. Good advice. Shaquille with 12 of his 14 points in the second quarter. Here's Steve Smith, 4 for 4 at the line. Ron Lue, Kobe Bryant come back on. Remember, right at the end of that first quarter with 6/10 of a second remaining. Evan George on a catch and shoot hit from long range from downtown.
Well, I'm sure Phil has worked on a play with 4.1 seconds to go here. A lot of times they like to get Shaq down the floor, throw long, and then he likes to catch it and fan the ball out to a 3-point shooter.
Will Perdue checking in for the first time. Mike Dunleavy going deeper into the roster due to the departure via suspension of Dal Davis and Stacey Augmon. Lakers up 52-47. Robert Horry will throw it in. Lakers try to spread the court here. Fisher. Oh, foul by Pippen, and a bad foul with the Blazers over the limit. Plus, it's the third on Pippen.
Again, you know, Scotty got caught there. Remember at the end of the first period, he reached in and took the foul with 6/10. They got it sideline out of bounds, hits the 3. This time he comes up the floor And Fisher sticks his leg out right there as Fisher tries to go around him. Scotty with the foul. So you talk about if he makes these 2 free throws, Marv, it could be 5 points with 0.6 of a second left in the first, 0.3 here. Those 5 points mount up. That's the difference in the game right now.
Fisher, 81% free throw shooter, on the line for the first time.
Now with 0.3, it has to be a catch and all-in-one motion, lay the ball in the basket. But I guess it's 3 seconds. Is it 3 seconds? 3. I'm sorry. I thought it said 0.3. I misread the clock. So they still have plenty of time.
Wallace running the baseline. Anthony, broken up by Lou, and time runs out in this first half. Lakers 54 and the Blazers 47. Lakers turning it on in the second quarter, led by Shaq with 14, Kobe with 13. Stay tuned for Ahmad, Kevin, and PJ in our New York studio. Back in a moment. In the first half, it's been a struggle for Scottie Pippen and Rasheed Wallace. Wallace just 1 for 10 from the field. You see Pippen 2 for 7 as we welcome you back. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, and Jim Gray. A 54-47 Laker lead as we head to the second half. Blazers got off to the good start, but the Lakers able to control things in the second quarter.
Well, they did it with Kobe and Shaq. They picked up the level of their defense, and then Shaq dominated that second period in the paint. They got to the free throw line. They were able to slow the game down, get their defense back. And Stoudemire and Steve Smith were great for Portland in that first half. Marv, 11 of 19, they had 31 points. Kobe and Shaq had 27. But the difference, end of quarter, some mistakes there by Portland. Scottie Pippen took a couple fouls, and it really cost his team. So as you look at the faces of the Portland Trailblazers, as they look to this 24 minutes, will be the last 24 minutes of the season, and it will be if Scottie Pippen and Rasheed Wallace don't come up here with a big second half.
Shaquille O'Neal with 14 points to lead the way, came on strong in the second quarter. And Kobe Bryant, 6 of 16, 13 points and 5 assists. It will be Blazer ball. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Marvel. I spoke to Mike Dunleavy. He said that he will continue to go to Rasheed Wallace. He believes that he will start making his shots here in the second half. We got to get him some good shots, but look for them to go to him early and often. He feels pretty good about where they are. I asked him if he's going to have enough manpower and energy here in the second half. He said even though we're depleted, he feels energy-wise we're in pretty good shape. As you see, Wallace miss another couple of attempts and taps it in. Energy-wise, we're in pretty good shape, and foul-wise, we're also in good shape. Marv?
Jim showing us his play-by-play skills.
I like that.
Very nicely done. 54-49 Lakers. Kobe looking for the pick. Oh! And Wallace is on it. A dangerous pass and a foul on Kobe Bryant.
It looked that the referees were going to let that go. I think Kobe thought he got away with some contact there. Stoudemire in the open floor, but after he took the one dribble, Ronnie Garretson did blow the foul on Kobe Bryant. Kobe's trying to get in this passing lane. Makes a little incidental contact there. You see he gets away from it. It looks like he's going to be able to get away with the contact without the foul, but the last moment, Ronnie Garretson blew the whistle.
Bryant with 3. Blazers shot 42% of the first half, 18 of 43. Here's Sabonis. And the Lakers at 44%. They were 20 for 45 from the field. Lakers trying to close out this series. Blazers looking for game 4 here at the Rose Garden. On Tuesday night, Sabonis collects his 3rd foul.
Well, we have to watch fouls and also minutes played also too on Sabonis. 21 of the 24 minutes in that first half. And Marv, you and I talked about it that, you know, you start getting 33, 34 minutes with him. It's so hard for him to continue to change ends of the floor. So he has no help today. Mike is going to have to rest him the best he can, but he's going to have to really grind through this game.
Fisher with the open shot. And a foul is called. Loose ball foul. O'Neal on the push-off. That's his second foul. Brown responding to the call.
Lakers had 12 second chance points in that first half when they needed him off 6 offensive rebounds. Shaq just sort of bumping Sabonis out of the way. I could not really see the contact on that, but the Sabonis did get the call.
Look out. That was intended for Sabonis, but he thought that it was meant for Stoudemire, and he ducked away, leading to the turnover.
Well, what they're trying to do is go through Steve Smith in the post, have him go at Kobe. As they help Kobe to keep him out of foul trouble, then he will create a shot for somebody else on the floor.
We heard Ahmad at halftime mention that the Lakers are not so confident that they plan to check out of their hotel before today's game. Here's Bryant. So Phil Jackson making certain there are no advantages from a psychological point of view. How often does that happen where a team will check out?
Well, especially with Phil, he loves that psychology.
Good job by Smith to get to the loose ball. And the foul against the Lakers. It's on Horace Grant.
Steve Smith has really played a good game today. Getting in that post, got off to a great start. He has 14 points, got to the free throw line 6 times in the first half, made all 6 of those. So he has been one of those Blazers who has been attacking the entire game. Stoudemire has done that as well.
Smith in game 2 played 40 minutes, had a 5 for 10, 16 points. Smith for 3. Yes.
Now, see, when you talk about a guy, he's supposed to do that. He's supposed to come back and make a shot. That's the segue that he's supposed to be listening, Marv.
Right on cue. It's a 2-point game. Lakers have led by as many as 7. Fisher. Well, today, Derek Fisher not hitting his shots. Horace Grant. Oh, Sabonis upset with himself.
Well, when you're forcing outside jump shots, that's 14 second chance points now that the Lakers have out of the 56 points.
Scottie Pippen. Lakers up by 2. We look back at game 2 won by the Lakers. Pippen came out with fire Thursday night, very assertive, and then just cooled down in the second half.
Scottie uses a lot of energy on both ends of the floor. Remember last year in the playoffs, he was tracking the basketball, going back, doing the double teaming, getting in the passing lanes, and he's getting a little older. Sometimes he gets worn down. I think that's what happened in game 2. I think he got a little tired.
Scottie Pippen showing a lot of energy here at the start of the third. Fox forcing and draws the foul. That's 4 on Pippen.
And we've seen 3 of his fouls that have been very uncharacteristic of what Scottie has done in his career. This guy is an 8-time all-defensive player. He does a nice job of knocking the ball loose. And then when the ball is picked up by Fox, here comes Scottie back into the picture, and he reaches in. So we've seen Scottie commit 3 of those fouls today out of his 4 fouls. We talked about, Mark, with him being shorthanded. They cannot have him sitting over there being an assistant coach right now. They need him to play.
Particularly with Stacey Augmon sidelined by the suspension, they need Scottie Pippen to play big minutes. Instead, Detlef Schrempf checks back in.
Scottie was upset after game 1. He felt like that he wanted to come out and be in an attack mode. He said, I want to be aggressive. And after the game, he said, you know what, I felt like I had to stand in isolation a lot. I didn't get opportunities. So Mike Dunleavy had his assistant coach go back through the tape. He said Scottie had the ball in his hands 41 times during that game. He can be aggressive anytime he wants to.
How often does that happen with a player where they don't realize what has taken place? Rasheed Wallace with a nice post-up move. As you mentioned earlier, Mike Dunleavy telling us that for the Blazers to win, they need Rasheed to get, 20, 25 touches in
Absolutely.
the post. Well, Derek Fisher, 1 for his previous 5, able to knock one down. It's the Lakers 61, the Blazers 56. 7.5 remaining in the third. Detlef Schrempf for 3. Yes. Well, that provides the lift.
Well, he is a proven playoff performer. We know that. He's twice been 6th man of the year. Played in the finals against the Bulls with Seattle.
Oh, Kobe Bryant sweeping to the rim, able to beat Sabonis.
That quick attack by Kobe. You come down, sometimes he sets the offense up, sometimes he hits you with that quick strike. That time, Blazers not ready.
Lakers up by 4. Wallace shoots the three. Not a good shot.
They'll live with that out there. Horace Grant loves him being out there shooting that shot.
And Grant is open. Damon Stoudemire, major part of the offense in the first half, draws the blocking foul. Foul on Fox. That's 3 on Rick Fox.
Well, Phil Jackson was not happy with that call. He thought it was a very late whistle. It will not be, or I guess it is a two-shot foul if Stoudemire goes to the line, but it looked like play was going to go on. And then the late whistle, and Phil not happy with that.
Stoudemire at 83%. Free throw shooter. 3 of 3 at the line. He now has 18 points.
Well, he started out his career in Toronto, was Rookie of the Year, drafted by Isaiah Thomas, and then was was traded and came home. You know, Marv, there's a lot of great things about being at home, but also, too, it makes it very difficult. If things aren't going well, a lot of pressure to put statistics on the board. You're playing in front of family and friends, and he's had his moments here that he struggled with that.
That's what happened last year because he did not have a good playoff, and then had to hear about it.
Right.
All off season. Shot clock at 5. Bryant, yes. Kobe Bryant, 8 of 20 now. Following the slow start, 17 points for Kobe. Smith. Play by Wallace. Shrimp. Yes. Declan Shrimp, the 38-year-old, coming out of retirement earlier this season. At first he was not needed. He was working out by himself back home in Seattle. And the call came, and Detlef getting the time here today. With 5 quick points in this third quarter. Shaquille O'Neal has 16, and the Lakers lead 67-63. Shrimp sets the pick. Stoudemire's 3. And O'Neal able to sweep it and elude Shrimp. The crowd was looking for a foul on O'Neal. Phil Jackson, with a different point of view, thought that Shrimp should have been called for the personal.
How about the balance by Shaq? He was in a very awkward position and just maintained his position and did not walk with the basketball.
The play by Sabonis. 3 on 2. In slow motion. Sabonis and Shrimp on the break. Smith downtown. And the Blazers shooting well here in the third quarter. It leads to a Laker timeout.
The extra pass by Portland. Steve Smith, who's been terrific all day, spots up, knocks down the 3, makes it a 1-point game. Phil does not like the way things are going. He wants to talk to his team.
Doug, sometimes extra practice does pay off. Damon Stoudemire, Steve Smith out here at the Rose Garden, shooting 3 hours prior to the start of today's game.
Well, what this shows to me also is the pride these two men have, and it's played off today. They have 39 of the 66 points. Individual pride leads to collective pride, leads to possibly finding a way to win a game and get yourself back in the series.
Portland is 7 of 14 from the field here in the third quarter. And they're within 1. Shot clock at 6. Fisher puts 3. Derek Fisher got off slowly, 1 for his first 5. And now showing some signs.
Well, he's so confident. I'm not so sure he would have kept shooting last year when he struggled. Now he is so confident. He's continuing to take that shot, and he's really helped his team.
Smith for 3, and the ball will go back to the Lakers.
Shot clock winding down. Once again, it's up to Kobe to try to create a shot. Stoudemire helps on the defense, gets back, gets a hand in the face. Not enough to deter Derek Fisher, who bangs in the 3 and puts the lead back to 4.
Lakers now 3 of 14 from downtown. O'Neal coming up short here. Fouled by Sabonis.
Marv, you can just see as Sabonis gets tired. He can't make the second effort. You know, he wants to. The ball goes up, he defends it, and then he tries to come back. Shaq has already got the rebound and going back up for his second effort at the basket. So, as I said before, the heart is willing. Sometimes the legs are just will not work for him.
Sabonis picks up his fourth. Antonio Harvey will come on. Antonio Harvey, a one-time member of the Lakers out of Pfeiffer College, NAIA school, in his sixth NBA season. Second year with Portland after playing some in Greece and Italy.
And let's keep our eye right now on the Portland Trail Blazers. Without Sabonis, they lose so much spacing offensively. Who's going to score?
Grant comes up with the steal, stepping in front of Wallace. Bryant. Beautiful shovel to O'Neal, although the Blazers thought that Kobe did not pull up. They were looking for a traveling violation.
You know, Sabonis' numbers don't show it, but he's so important to this offense because of what he does with his passing and his spacing. And every time he sits down, they lose the big body to bang against Shaq, and their offense really suffers.
Wallace is fouled.
The best 1-2 punch in the NBA is once again playing great basketball. Kobe pushing the ball. How about Shaq's ability to run the floor? As the game goes on, Shaq just wears you down. He just demoralizes you with his power. And then he runs out and gets an easy score. Now he's making free throws. Has he ever played better?
Foul on Fox. That's his fourth. And Rasheed Wallace just 2 for 14 from the field. He does have 11 rebounds, but has been very quiet. And we talked to Mike Dunleavy, and he's the guy they want as the go-to player. That's been the question these last couple of years about the Blazers. Who is the go-to guy on this team?
Well, you know, he's a very, very unselfish player. And he really, I don't think, wants to necessarily separate himself from the pack. But in the fourth quarter, today especially, if this game is on the line, they have got to be able to go through him, because in the first two games, he has not been there for his team when they've needed him. One time ejected, the other time 0 for 4. And did not score in that game. It was a 2-point game at the end of 3. So we'll have to keep our eye. Will he be able to get it done today?
Phil Jackson making a move. Rick Fox sitting down after picking up his fourth. Robert Horry is back, coming up on 3 minutes remaining in the third. Back going against Harvey. Open shot for Horry for 3. And Harvey is on it. Here comes Stoudemire. Stoudemire and Smith now at the guards. Schrempf is open for 3. And O'Neal on the rebound. Kobe with Horry ahead of the field. Blazers able to get back on the transition.
Now you take your time. There was no fast break, and you pound it inside to Shaquille.
Grant, a beautiful show the ball maneuver by Horace Grant.
Now Horace Grant has got that bounce in his step. He sees a possible championship. It's been a long year to the 14-year pro, but he knows now it's playoff time.
Foul committed by Fisher. Timeout taken by Portland with 2 minutes, 19 seconds to go here in the third. 8-1 run for the Lakers. Back in Portland, correction on the last foul was called on Antonio Harvey, not Derek Fisher. 4 fouls in 5 minutes on Harvey as you look at the Laker hustle board.
Well, points in the paint, you expect that with Shaq. Second chance points, I think, has really hurt Portland today. The rest of the hustle, the rebounds, the steals. Right now with Shaq getting his first rest of the day, can Portland make a run to close this quarter?
Here's Smith for 3. Yes.
Well, that extra shooting, that extra work, I don't care how long you've been in the league, pays off. So for young players watching, you want to be good, you want to be a pro, you want to play in the playoffs, get out and do your extra work.
And also has some skill.
Absolutely, the skill is a given.
Steve Smith has 23. That's his third from downtown. Here's offensive foul. I think we'll see Shaquille O'Neal back on the floor shortly. As you mentioned, getting his first rest of the ball game.
Well, when he sits down, you've got to take advantage of it. Mark, we've done so many Laker games this year where we've seen teams not take advantage of that. Shaq has been able to go get some rest, come back, and be strong to finish the game. Right now, you are down 5. You've got to push to try to get the lead.
Greg Anthony has checked back in for Portland. Anthony fires the 3. So the Lakers are going with a unit of Brian Shaw and Derek Fisher at the guards. Horace Grant up front with Robert Horry and Kobe Bryant. Shaw. Lakers continue to get open looks.
Well, basically what the Portland Trailblazers are doing, they're showing up strong on Kobe, making him give the ball up, but the extra pass in the corner is wide open. Portland's rotation cannot get there.
7-point Laker lead. Wallace. Well, Rasheed Wallace only his 3rd field goal, 3 for 15 from the field. It's 77-72 Lakers. And the foul is called. Greg Willard, the official at the far side, calling it on Steve Smith.
Well, Steve Smith is a very, very smart player, but he does not have the quickness to be able to contain a Kobe Bryant, especially in the open court. Did not see the foul there as Kobe pirouetted. Looked like there was a little bump, but I think the Portland fans wanted to travel.
Second on Smith. Bryant. Half-minute left in this 3rd quarter.
I don't like that shot. Shaq is not in the game. Go to Rasheed Wallace. Get him the ball.
Bryant with the crossover. Looking to stuff and draws the foul.
This is when Phil Jackson wants Kobe to sort of run free. When Shaq is sitting down, getting a rest, turn it over to Kobe and do your thing. Make plays. We can see Kobe holding those ribs.
And apparently a technical foul called on Greg Anthony. Kobe still bothered by that bruised rib. And Greg Anthony has something to say to one of the officials.
Kobe goes up strong. Good foul by Detlef Schrempf. Cannot finish that dunk. That would have been an explosive play and really ignited his team. But again, you cannot get a technical. Greg Anthony lets the referee know he doesn't like it. You give the Lakers a point. Now Kobe shoots 2 free throws. This could be a 3-point possession as you're trying to catch up. Once again with Shaq resting.
Well, that's the first technical of the ball game. But we're still early. Portland hit with 5 technical fouls plus a flagrant. And the 2 ejections back in game 2. Apparently Greg Anthony felt that there should have been a charging foul on Kobe Bryant on that last play.
Marv, I would be shocked if on this last possession that Rasheed Wallace doesn't get the ball. Now, if he gets double teamed, he can free up a shooter. But with 18 plus seconds to go in the quarter, you've got to put the ball in his hand.
Down to 10 seconds in the quarter. Wallace draws the double. Here's Wallace. Shaw with the rebound. Time runs out. In this 3rd quarter, and the numbers on Rasheed Wallace, 3 of 16 from the field. After 3, it's the Lakers by 7. We'll be back after these words from your local station. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. This capacity crowd of better than 20,000 here at the Rose Garden in Portland trying to get their team going. They're trailing 79-72, facing elimination. If the Blazers can come from behind and beat the Lakers, they'll force it to a game 4 on Tuesday night against a Laker team that has won 10 straight games coming into today. Rasheed Wallace has struggled throughout. He is now 3 for 17. He does have 12 rebounds, but Wallace shooting the ball, having all kinds of problems with the touch. Shaquille O'Neal is back on the floor. Horry with a second effort. And last touch by Shaq.
Now, that's what Rasheed has done in the first two games in the fourth quarter. In game one, it was a 2-point game at the end of the third quarter, 0-3. Did not score in the fourth period. In game two, he had 3, 1 of 4, so he's 1 of 7. He had 2 technicals and was ejected. Marv, I don't care if he's 3 for 17, 3 for 20, be 3 for 30, but you got to keep shooting.
Scottie Pippen is back after picking up a 4th foul. That's Sabonis. Sabonis has 10. Meanwhile, Shaquille O'Neal rested about 10 minutes, 2 minutes and 19 seconds of game time, but he had the break between quarters.
And Portland only gained 1 point during that period of time. He went out, they were up 8. He came back, they were up 7. And he's got fresh legs.
And he now has 21 points. The last time that the Lakers swept a playoff series back in 1991 when they were able to pull it off against the Houston Rockets. Here's Anthony for 3. Rebounded by Fisher. Still a long way to go with 10:20 left in this fourth quarter, and the Lakers with an 81-74 lead.
Look how deep Shaquille O'Neal is getting the ball in the post. He's getting it in rhythm. The ball is going from one side of the floor to the other, going right into the post. And you see Sabonis trying to gather himself as he goes down the floor.
Foul is called.
Shaquille O'Neal has scored the last 2 baskets. When he gets the ball in the paint that low in rhythm, you've got to collapse, you've got to dig in there, you've got to try to force a turnover. Then the next time, one side of the floor or the other, Shaq just sort of slides over into that low post, gets the nice angle, kisses the ball off the glass. And I think one of the things that Shaq has really done great with this triangle offense, it's an offense of angles. And he plays the angles so well on being able to get the spot so the ball can be delivered to him at the right time.
Laker foul was called on Fisher, non-shooting affair. Pippen able to keep it alive. And the ball back to the Lakers.
Scotty's really struggled here today. They need a big fourth quarter from him. He took that real hard foul in the first quarter. I don't know if he has any residual effect of that with his hand or his elbow.
Steve Smith getting set to check back in. Shot clock at 6. Shaw is fouled. Foul of the act. Brian Shaw will shoot 2. Foul committed by Greg Anthony.
First team foul.
Brian Shaw at the line for the first time. Eight points for Shaw. Well, next Saturday on NBC, the second round of the NBA playoffs will get underway pending the outcome of games during the course of this weekend, the scheduled NBA playoff games. Next week, not yet determined. You know that on Saturday we'll bring you a second round game at 6:30 Eastern. And a reminder that playoff action continues on TNT tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's the San Antonio Spurs take on the Minnesota T-Wolves. Game 4, Spurs leading that series 2-1. We were on hand yesterday at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Kevin Garnett, Wally Szczerbiak, and the Timberwolves with the win to keep the series alive, and Derek Fisher has come alive, hits another 3 after the slow start. Fisher has been a factor for the Lakers, who now lead by 13, their biggest lead of the night.
See, the thing I love what Fisher's doing, he's continuing to shoot the ball. Even though he got off to a slow start, his confidence is there. And look at the Laker defense swarming. Sabonis stuck with the ball at half court with the clock winding down.
Stolen the Smith. Sabonis on the foul. That was a great crowd yesterday in Minneapolis.
Oh, it was terrific. And I expect San Antonio, especially Tim Duncan, to bounce back. He got in foul trouble yesterday. Minnesota did a great job, and he never got in any kind of rhythm. Very rarely do your great players have 2 bad games in a row.
Robertori turns it over. Timeout is called. 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the fourth.
We take a look at Derek Fisher. He and Rick Fox have been such great players in this series. Call it making the grade. Fisher, what he has done in this series. Rick Fox, his numbers. Marv, this is when 2F, Fisher, and Fox get a A for the way they have played.
Nice.
And you see the turnovers there, none in 74 minutes. You add on today 5 assists, no turnovers. He's played 106 minutes in this series without a turnover. Fox has been terrific. They say you don't have a third scorer. They now have third and fourth scores to go along with Kobe and Shaq.
Ori called for the foul. You know, Kevin Johnson made the point at halftime in the studio. This Laker team may be better than last year's team. At this point, it took a while. Obviously, they had the bad first half. But the Lakers won 67 games last year, won the championship. You look at last year, you're looking at Glenn Rice as the other option, and he was certainly a big factor. Here's Wallace forcing one. And the rebound is batted out of bounds. Last touch by the Blazers. But the way that Horace Grant and Rick Fox and Derek Fisher have played, that's a valid point. This team, may, particularly at the defensive end.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think it was a very observing point there by KJ. This team does have a chance to be better than last year's team because of their defense. Kobe Bryant now gets into that low post, but you know, Fisher is a terrific defensive player. Horace Grant and Ori combined at that power forward. And you talk about Fox as a better defensive player than Glenn Rice, so they are better defensively when they're playing the way they can play.
Plus, they may have filtered all the problems out. A lot of tension earlier this season. Here's Fisher giving it to Bryant, and the foul is called. It's on Stoudemire, and Kobe is shaken up. Looks like he landed on his hip.
Stoudemire grabbed him from behind on this fast break. It was not a play to hurt Kobe. You see right there, Stoudemire comes in and grabs him so he cannot lay that ball in the basket. And when Kobe falls down, he winces. But at this stage of the game, you can't give up any layups. Now, the most important thing, Marv, as this game starts to slip away from Portland, if it looks like they're not going to win, they've got to keep their composure. It can't be where they start trying to do some things to get themselves in trouble.
Let's go over to Jim Bray. Yep.
All right, Mark. Well, I talked to several Lakers before the game, including Kobe Bryant. He said today could get nasty. He was prepared for it. He says it's all right. Asked Shaq if he was concerned about being baited into an incident, particularly late in the game if there he had. He said absolutely not. He says, my game is like the new hit movie by Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis. I'm unbreakable. Phil Jackson did, however, show the team a video so that they would not lose their composure and so that under any circumstance not retaliate so it wouldn't hurt them later in the playoffs. Mark?
You think Shaq has someone writing these lines?
I don't know.
Comes up with fresh material, not necessarily good material, but
he's fresh. He's clever.
91-78, Lakers with the lead, 6.5 remaining in the fourth. Stoudemire. Now the Lakers had many problems earlier this season. You had Shaq and Kobe, all kinds of tension that had developed. Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant, Stoudemire. But you get the idea, Doug, that the disintegrating, imploding Blazers have actually helped the Lakers to bond. All the verbal infighting with LA seems to have ended. Certainly winning 10 straight games has a way of healing things.
I agree with that, and I think Portland here, they've got one run left in them. If they can get their defense, hit a couple shots, that's a big three that goes in and out. But sometimes you play an opponent early in the playoffs, it brings out the best in you, and it does galvanize your team. I think that's what's happened with the Lakers here. That was a big three that Scotty missed there. He makes that. You get it to an 8-point game. Now it's at 11. Fisher will shoot 2 free throws.
This has not been a pleasant time for these two men. Most of the moves made have backfired. We've talked about this in the past, Doug. The Blazers are a prime example of, and this was the case last year, you can have too many quality players.
No question. And you know what? There's a lot of speculation that, you know, if they do go on to lose here today and get eliminated, that they're going to change their team. Marv, you know what? With that salary cap, when you have a lot of guys who are on the late stages of careers making a lot of money, people aren't going to buy up your mistakes. Nobody's going to help Portland get good here. So, yeah, they have a lot of decisions they want to make as you look at Rod Strickland. But is anybody going to take some of the players so they can change their team? I don't know. I think they're in for a long rehaul here. I just don't think they're going to be able to just start all over again. I don't think that's going to happen.
Rod Strickland, one of the late season acquisitions, has not played a single minute here today.
Well, this is the pride time right now. Mark, this is pride time for Portland. They've got to keep playing to the finish, give themselves every opportunity to get back into this game.
5.5 remaining in the fourth. The Los Angeles Lakers trying to close out the series. They have a 13-point lead on the Portland Trail Blazers. And now using the clock. Ori for three. And they'll get a new 24.
Well, you can just see Sabonis is out on his feet right now. I mean, Shaq is the fresher man, which he should be. He's younger, he's bigger, he's stronger. And it's just very, very difficult for Sabonis right now to try to stay with him.
Blazers will take over. Sabonis has played 36 minutes. That's a high number.
And again, you know, what happened in that other game, you know, just if Dale Davis could have been here to give him 18 minutes. You know, now all of a sudden maybe Sabonis is a little fresher. Maybe it changes the game. Augie walking out onto the floor. All of a sudden maybe he comes in with Pippen in foul trouble and it helps them. So those two actions really hurt their team trying to win today.
Pippen for three. Comes up with air. Scottie Pippen is playing with 5 personal fouls. He felt that he was fouled. Scottie Pippen 3 for 13. He's 0 for 4 in the fourth. It has been a horrendous ball game for both Rasheed Wallace and Scottie Pippen. Wallace 4 for 19.
You're not going to beat the Lakers like that, that's for sure.
Shot clock down to 2. Fisher again.
Oh, I mean, Stoudemire right in his face, and Fisher just rose up and knocked that shot down.
17 points for Derek Fisher. Damon Stoudemire. So with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth, the Lakers now lead 95-82, and you get the feeling time is running out on the Trailblazers in what has turned out to be a disastrous season. Stoudemire.
That might be a microcosm right there of Portland's season, right there. A brilliant move, but you couldn't finish.
Lakers in possession, up by 13. Fisher met by Pippen. And here's Ori. He's fouled. The basket will not count.
Now, Damon Stoudemire has played a wonderful game today. He comes down the floor, splits 3 Laker defenders, gets into the lane, has got a wide open layup, and just pushed it right off the back of the rim.
4th team foul on Portland. Here's Fox. And the Lakers now lead 97-82. Unfortunately for the Blazers, when you look back at this season, although this is kind of a quiet game coming off what took place in game 2, but the lasting image of this ball club will encompass snarling and bickering, a technical foul festival brought on by themselves, and a group of underachieving athletes.
Yeah, and you know, Marv, I think a lot of it was in denial early in the season, and whether or not the team did not address it or whatever, I think the enabling of this team to be able to do this for such a long period of time, it got such in a spiral going down, they couldn't stop it. And then it reared its ugly head in a very pressure situation, which is what happened.
Shaq trying to go behind the back. With 2:28 remaining in this fourth quarter, the Lakers on their way to a sweep. The crowd filing out here at the Rose Garden in Portland. 2:28 remaining in this fourth quarter and the season for the Portland Trailblazers.
Well, you know, a lot of maturity by this Laker team, too. Last year in these situations, they lost these games. They weren't able to close out the series when they had to. We saw it in the first round against Sacramento. They're up 2-0. It took them to Game 5. They go up 3-0 against Phoenix. They lose Game 4 by 30-plus points. They have to go back and play a Game 5. They have a 3-1 lead, go home and lose to Portland, have to go to Game 7, a miraculous finish. And then Indiana, they up 3-1 in that series and have to go back and play a Game 6. So maybe some maturity shown here with this team, closing it out, something they were not able to do last year when they had the opportunity to do.
And Doug, you have to wonder about the future of Portland head coach Mike Dunleavy, although he has been in an impossible situation and has certainly proven himself in the past. But it's really been a nightmarish season.
Oh, you can see it in Mike's face. Again, I told you, I'm not ashamed to say I'm a friend of Mike's. We've been friends for a long time, and Shaq finishes with power. But when we spoke with him before the game, you could see the look in his eyes. He was wanting to put up the good front about we can win this series. But Marv, you know what? You can't have all these kind of distractions and all these emotions and expect to, when it's all magnified in the playoffs, and wave a magic wand and everything be okay. They're not going to go away.
Foul is called with 1:23 remaining in this fourth quarter. It's on Kobe Bryant. Coming up right here on NBC at 8 o'clock, 7 Central. It's Tommy Lee Jones, Wesley Snipes, Robert Downey Jr., U.S. Marshals. That's tonight at 8, except on the West Coast. So Kobe Bryant, 22 points, a career playoff high, 9 assists. And Shaquille O'Neal sitting down with 25 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 for 10 from the foul line.
And what a nice hand for Sabonis. These fans realize that this guy gave his heart and soul to play against Shaquille O'Neal. He was just overmatched, but gave the effort every night. You can see the big fella and the disappointment as he sits down. He's a real pro.
For Phil Jackson, this will be his 17th consecutive playoff series victory in terms of rounds of a series, and he'll be 11-0 in first-round series as well. The Lakers with their first sweep since back in '91 when they did it to the Houston Rockets, and they've done it convincingly here today. Blazers did get off to the good start. That's been the familiar story. But the Lakers came out in the second quarter and just added to the lead in the second half.
Now, Marv, how about it? The last road game that the Lakers played was the 8th of April. They've been home for 21 days. They come on the road. They're here for 2 days. They now go home and could be home as much as 10 to 12 days before they go out again. So in the last 30-plus days, they'll have only traveled twice. They've had a chance to be home, practice, get healthy, get everything together. The schedule has broken perfectly for them, and they've taken advantage of it.
Final seconds, and that will wrap it. And for the Lakers, it's now 11 straight wins as they make it a sweep of the Portland Trail Blazers, who end the season by losing their last 6. Mike Dunleavy walking over to shake the hand of Phil Jackson. The final score, Lakers 99 and the Blazers 86. Back in a moment to talk